Mike Woodson can't bring bigs into Indiana, and what do we think about the Hoosiers football season now that everything has come through? I think it was pretty damn awesome. Let's get into it.
Pretty simple. I win.
For three on the way.
Hello, guys, and I hope you are snuggled up and cozy on this 0-degree day here in northern Indiana. It's quite brisk out there today. Hillbilly Monkey, we got a great show for everybody today. We're going to talk about, there was an article in the Crimson Quarry, why can Mike Woodson not bring bigs into this team? I mean, we'll talk about that, the ones we've missed out on, and what the culture of Indiana basketball, how that really depends on how you develop players and why it is so important. And we'll talk about, how other teams like Purdue are able to get it done in that area, and Indiana just has not in the last. And then we'll just talk briefly about after Indiana, we watched Notre Dame get beat by Ohio State last night, and overall, looking at this season, all you can say as Indiana fans is, we lost to the champs. You know what I mean? Like, you could see Ohio State was better than Notre Dame in the game. They really took it to them in a way. But you know what? Indiana played Ohio State a little bit more tough, and they were on the road. So hit that subscribe button down below if this is your first time here. I got a giveaway coming at you in just a few minutes. I will reveal the winner of Rally House giveaway. So hit the subscribe button down below. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think about Mike Woodson. We will have another t-shirt giveaway at 2,200, and we are climbing. This channel is climbing like a rocket ship into outer space, and we're getting to 3,000 subscribers sooner than later. So thank you so much for all of you for watching the videos. It really means the world to me, and the people that are sharing, like the last video was shared over 20 times. Unbelievable. I cannot thank you enough. And before we get into it, Hillbilly Monkey, put that email address on the screen. The winner of the home field apparel is Rod Kemp 1136. Rod Kemp 1136. Come on down. You won the t-shirt on Indiana Sports Connection. Thank you so much for being here, Rod Kemp. Time for a change. Not sure who is available. Anyone would be better than Woodson. Calbert Chaney. Maybe Calbert. I would give anybody a shot to be the interim coach. I could definitely see Calbert and Jordan Halls maybe taking over as head one and head two. We'll see if he makes it to the end of the year there, Rod Kemp. And also, the video is brought to you by BetUS. Use my promo code Indiana125 to save 125% on your first 3 deposits, and also 10% of the AdSense revenue on this channel goes to T2T.org. Leave your comments down below. I will pick one of the comments when this video hits 2,200 subscribers. I'll pick one of the comments and I will reveal a winner of the home field apparel. But you did all that good stuff. You hit that like button. Let's get the video out. Let's get 200 likes on this video and pump it out to as many Hoosier fans across the country and across the globe. Without further ado, let's get into talking about the Indiana Hoosiers. Alrighty then, Hillbilly Monkey, let's get into the video here. And let's talk about Mike Woodson. This article was in the Crimson Quarry. I'm going to read a little bit of it, and there's something to be said about this. It's like, with the development of Trace Jackson Davis, Khalil Ware going to the NBA, why is it that besides... Actually, the big question is, who's going to play center for the Hoosiers next year? Even if Mike Woodson's gone, is Malik Renew going to play center next year? Or are we going to, cobble together, get another guy from the portal? My point of all of this is, we don't have a culture here where we are, developing players. And we're going to talk about some of the players that have really... just went right through our fingertips. Why were we not able to make those calls? Why were we not able to make those players? Why were we not able to get them to buy into a system? Because Mike Woodson doesn't have a system. I mean, he has a system to dump the ball down low to a big guy, but realistically, who's going to want to play second fiddle to Ballo on this team? I mean, you can see already how him and Renew can't operate. And I think a lot of people from the outside, they see that. They see that it's hard to operate a team when you're trying to play two big guys at the same time. And guys who are big guys, they don't want to do that. You know, you think Zach Edey wanted to play last year side by side of Trey Kaufman-Renn? No, because Matt Painter is able to convey in a way to his players, Caleb First, Trey Kaufman-Renn, like, hey, look, guys, like, you're not going to play on this team, but I need you. I need you for practice. I need you for all of these reasons to buy into the system, because next year is when you're going to be getting your playing time. And he's able to convey those messages to those Purdue guys. And that's how you build that culture. And we've just not seen that out of Mike Woodson. We had Logan Duncombe here. And let's take a look at this and read part of this article here, Hillbilly Monkey. And just so everybody knows, I will be making a live video tomorrow talking more about the Northwestern game. I know I said yesterday I would make a video about the Northwestern game today, but tomorrow, the game is tomorrow at 7 o'clock, so we will talk about that tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to put out a live video and talk about the Northwestern game more. So I do just want to read a little bit of this article here because I thought it was pretty good. And this was in the Crimson Quarry and was written by L.C. Norton. Whether or not Mike Woodson is still leading the program during the 25-26 season, there's at least one certainty. There's no way of knowing who's going to play center, which is odd for a few reasons. Centers have enjoyed working under Woodson, perhaps the most of any position for Indiana in 4 years. Trace Jackson Davis went from a great talent to one of the very best players in the country as a senior. Kel'el Ware arrived in Bloomington with falling draft stock and motor concerns and ended up being selected in the first round in the NBA draft by the Miami Heat. Even Oumar Ballo, the Hoosiers' incumbent starting center, is having a career year as Woodson has asked for more out of him as a passer than Tommy Lloyd did at Arizona. Granted, a guy playing in his fifth year is probably bound to be better than most other players. So why exactly are players not lining up to play center at Indiana? I don't know. What could it be? Hillbilly Monkey, why would they say that? Oh, I don't know. Probably because Mike Woodson just don't know what the hell he's doing and everybody else can see that. Perfectly fair. Lickety split is real easy to see. That is 100% true. True. This is not for lack of trying. It goes on to say, Indiana has had a few high-profile targets in recent years. Derek Queen, Malachi Marino, and those guys both went other places. We'll be seeing Derek Queen. He plays for Maryland here in just about this Saturday or Sunday. Indiana filled out its center rotation in 23 with Ware and Peyton Sparks, both portal additions. It did so again this past season with Ballo and Langdon Hatton. If you read the signs, it's pretty clear the program would understandably rather avoid being in that position when it comes to this coming off season. When Marino, a longtime pursuit of the Hoosiers, committed to Kentucky, and Mark Pope, Indiana sought out Eric Reeby, who ended up with UConn. Indiana then turned to Friedrich Leo Curtis, who has since committed to Arizona State. I'd like to make a point here. There isn't an issue for a starting caliber center. Indiana has found that pretty reliably now. The problem comes into play when you consider who's in the game when that guy is on the bench. And it's not that hard for Mike Woodson to sell the idea of starting center for the program. Come to Bloomington to be featured part of the offense and improve as a player. It's harder for every program, not just Indiana, to pitch playing 10 or less minutes off the bench behind a guy, especially in the portal. All of the things he's saying here, this is why you got to recruit somebody, anybody. I mean, Logan Duncombe, he's like the last guy we had that we thought, well, will he develop? And we've not really seen that. We've not seen players develop. And you can say if you want, Trace Jackson Davis developed under Mike Woodson. You know, Kel'el Ware, he was either going to play harder, he was just not going to make it at all. I mean, that's like the only option he had. I didn't really see what he did at Oregon, but there's definitely part of the fan base that feels like we do enough, we get enough players, we get enough centers, and we're developing these guys. And there's another part of the fan base that's just like, look out, we're just bringing guys in from the portal to play down low. Then we're going to feed the ball down low to those guys. And who are the guys that we're really not developing? It's the guards on the outside. If you watched my video yesterday with Tom Crean, the guards on this team have to make people better. And that is where Mike Woodson fails miserably. Can he dump the ball down in the post? Can he play two bigs? We know he knows how to do that. How can these guards score and be effective in scoring, rebounding? That is the part of the game with the Indiana Hoosiers that just does not develop. We don't see guards making people better and getting everybody involved in the right way. And that's why centers really don't want to come to Indiana. We don't have a good overall team. Yeah, maybe we could get a guy to the NBA. If that's what we're trying to do, are we trying to win championships or are we trying to get guys at the NBA? I mean, I know this drives me absolutely nuts. That's it. We got Northwestern. And the two guys, Barnheiser, we're going to talk about a lot tomorrow, but I wanted to do this on a live video. So watch out for that. It'll be coming out tomorrow, probably about 10 o'clock. I'll do a live video and I'll take your comments. We'll talk about the game a little bit more. It'll be more like a more relaxed, 30, 40-minute video talking about the game and taking some of your comments. So join me for that tomorrow. I'm trying to get more people on the show, on Thursdays and Fridays on live shows where maybe Kent Sterling would come on, maybe Jim Coyle would come on, because I got a lot of things in the fire right now. We're getting ready to hire a person down here at Indiana Sports Connection, somebody to do stats besides this ancient gargoyle monkey that sits behind me. Because what did you think about the Notre Dame game last night? Hillbilly monkey.
Carved from the sands of the Wabash River and formed into a monkey lamp that's sold at Home Goods. It's the Hillbilly Monkey Perspective on Indiana Sports Connection.
Well, it was pretty fascinating watching those two teams play, considering that Indiana lost to both of those teams. And both of those teams, the way that Indiana lost, everybody said, oh, they're embarrassed. They embarrassed themselves. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? Notre Dame was a pretty damn good team. And they played on a neutral site against Ohio State. And after that first touchdown, you could really tell that the talent for Ohio State was just showing up and showing out. And it was just, I was thinking the whole time, Indiana played them just as tough or tougher when they played them at Ohio State. What do you think?
That's exactly right. Indiana played Ohio State tough. They made a couple of really stupid mistakes in that game, but you're watching this game last night and you're thinking Indiana lost to both of these teams, the only two teams they lost to, and they played Notre Dame pretty tough at Notre Dame, and they had to play Ohio State at Ohio State. I would say that is a great experience for this Indiana Hoosiers football team going forward, not only for the coaches, for everything. And yesterday, Andy and Ari, they put out this, way too early top 25 list, and Indiana Hoosiers getting no respect at number 23 on there. But you know what? We're not going to get any respect. We're going to have to beat these teams. I really think this Indiana team could have really given Oregon a run for their money. I don't think I think they got one over on Ohio State early, but I just don't think they were the elite type team that Ohio State. And you can see, I think Notre Dame was the second best team out there, because I think very well they should have been undefeated and they would have been ranked up there high and been in the Final Four. But you could just see Ohio State. Where it really lies with Ohio State is the talent they have on the outside. That is the difference maker. Jeremiah Smith, Egbuka, these guys were just able to get open, and Howard going 14 of 14 and Notre Dame not being able to get off the field. It really shows you that Indiana's defense was really, really freaking good. It really was. Our defense with Kamara and West and Fisher and the way that our corners played, Pons, this was the best defense I believe that Indiana football has ever had. And that is great going forward. If we can have a defense like this, and even if you look back at the games that we blew teams out in, it was always our defense that made big plays in the Nebraska game, big plays in the Maryland game. Every time our defense stepped up to the plate and played lights out. I cannot wait for the spring game and to see what Signetti's going to do next, because They're not going to get any respect again going into next year. So you know what? It's going to be another year with a big chip on their shoulder, and they should, because there are a lot of naysayers out there about Indiana football and the Big Ten, and I'm going to be here for it when the Big Ten takes down the SEC. And 2 years in a row without an SEC team in the big game. So that is pretty great. So thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Indiana Sports Connection. I will see you tomorrow, and we'll talk more about the Northwestern game and the two guys, Barnheiser, they were looking at, and Martinelli. These guys have been playing lights out. It's going to be a tough game, and I'm going to make the trip over there tomorrow night and go watch the game, because there are going to be a lot of Indiana people there. It's a great place to go watch a game. There's always a ton of Hoosier fans at Northwestern, so get out there. It's a fun place to go see a game. Until next time, stay classy out there, Hoosier fans.